Who would like to come on first?
I definitely have a couple things to go over if it's okay
Cool.
to
Yeah.
get started. I just went through the challenge and the 3-day free challenge, and I thought I had someone who was 100% on board, ready to sign up. She asked for the invoice and everything. So I sent the invoice to her and I got a note back. And as you know, I've only run the 4-person group last time and it was only 8 weeks. And I'm just so, new to even this group concept. I'm just now getting a testimonial from one of those people.
Hmm.
And I don't do that often anyway. But she wrote back this morning. I hadn't gotten the invoice, I hadn't gotten the payment. And I had gone up to $797 with the $100 discount at $697. And I
Hmm.
think she feels like that's really high for not fully knowing what she's getting, even though over the phone I explained everything. It's going to be in the program agreement. Um, and she's concerned because she doesn't have any information on me. With my website, there's not a lot out there. I just have testimonials on my website from one-on-one. So she's
Hmm.
concerned, and I'm kind of looking like at the next step. I'm going to ask that person from the group if she feels comfortable talking to her or emailing with her.
Hmm.
I kind of got thrown off by this today because she was so excited about it. Also,
Yeah.
is it because it's a new program? I'm not doing it through like Kartra or something like that. Is it too much? Should I bring that down? And so yeah, so
Okay.
I got to be honest with you, I'm like a little like, "Ugh. All right,
Yeah.
now what?"
Yeah. No, I totally get it. Yes. So what happened was, what did she exactly say in the email? Like, oh, I don't know enough about
Yeah,
the
she said she
program.
tried to find more information about me and couldn't find much out there. Even though she's on social media with me, she's been in the group, she sat through the talks. My website, it's just very plain. There's not a lot out there. I have a lot to do on that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I would. So did you already respond or not respond yet?
No, I
Okay.
literally got it 15 minutes ago. And I thought I'll just wait until.
Yeah, good, good. Yeah, definitely good to not respond impulsively. So I would say back something like, oh, thank you for letting me know. Is there something in particular you're looking for, like my certifications or more testimonials, or, like, are you available for a quick chat? I can direct you to the right resources or something like that. And that way, if she says, oh, I want to talk to a reference or whatever, like, and you can even say, like, I'm happy to connect you with it once you check with that person,
Mhm.
a reference, who can give you some, um, just fill you in a little bit. But I would just kind of see, like, I would love to, you know, really you want to find out what the real concern is. Is she concerned that you don't have it like 10,000 testimonials? Is she concerned that she doesn't remember what she's buying? So like maybe in that follow-up email, you can just say, um, what did I say again? The first question, but then add some other things I wanted to say.
If she wanted to know about certifications or testimonials
Yeah,
or,
yeah. Like what are
um,
you, can you tell me a little bit more about what you're looking for? That's what
yeah.
I would say. And then be like, I listed a recap of what the program includes and the benefits below. Here's some additional testimonials in case you wanted to check these out. And lastly, I'm happy to connect you with my reference, so and so. And if you want, I can speak to how you're professional and, care about your clients and stuff like that if you need a backup reference. Um,
Okay.
but yeah, like, so that this kind of, we call this buyer's remorse. And I had one of these recently, where somebody said, oh yeah, I'm all in, gonna go through, totally excited, this is exactly what I need, this would be worth, just to figure out my niche would be worth X dollars, like that alone. And then, oh, I need to listen to my own intuitive guide right now. So it's like, this stuff definitely happens. You should count on a certain number of sales, just maybe 10% of people will say they're going to go through and then not. But the next time on that sales call, saying something like, okay, totally, I'll get you the onboarding, I'll do this. And either having something where it's like, is there anything else that could come up or that is on your mind, or, anything that could change after this call? Because otherwise I'm going to make sure I, keep a spot for you that and get you the onboarding. And if they say no, and they were lying, then that's one thing. But usually if there was something hesitating, like causing them to hesitate, you guys can address it still on the call. So you could be like, while I have you here, just to be fully transparent as business owner, like, is there anything that could get in the way or that could, cause pause in getting started? I just want to make sure that I'm keeping my spot open for you and we're on the same page and that kind of thing. And it's totally fine, that we have full transparency, like something like that.
Okay.
So yeah. And ultimately, I'm sorry that this happened, but I also think it could be a learning experience as far as which part did she not get? Because next time in your webinar, you're going to be like, oh, I need to address, XYZ, why I don't have a ton of information out there about me. But the truth is, I don't know if that's really the problem, because I think there's something deeper for this person, because you did lead a free value training. You do have all your posts. You did have a conversation with her. Like, so I don't understand why she's saying there's, I need more information type of thing. So I wouldn't take it as like, oh my gosh, now all my stuff isn't credible, but I would just try to see which part she's concerned about. Yeah. And Allie said, I don't think it's you either, honestly. So a lot of times it's somebody's internal thing, like internal block, like, oh, for example, in my situation, I got to listen to my inner guide, So
if I end up using you also as a reference, should I just tell her you're my coach?
Yeah, I mean, you could say, let me connect you to you could say a colleague, you could say, however you want to, I mean, obviously don't say this is my exact client, but yeah, you can use my other email, or actually, why don't you use my cell phone? Because I can text her, because I don't want to have to.
And if that does happen, I'll text you first if I have to go that far.
Yeah.
But I also was going to send her, my website needs a lot of work, Kim Hines Health and Wellness, but I was going to send her, I have a pretty big write-up and articles and blogs also in the Wellspring Counseling and Health with the other two therapists. And that might also give some validity if she hasn't gone that far, even though that's listed on other things too. It took the wind out of my sails today, and it made me have imposter syndrome so bad that I literally was just very shaken up by it. Like, oh, I have to prove myself. And here's the problem. I don't have a lot of proof, because this is only the second time I'm going to run it. And I am curious about that. Would all of you be honest about the fact that it's a new program, or would you just roll through it?
You have run it before, so I don't think you need to say, I mean, you could say it's my second founders members group or something like that if you want. But I think, and as far as the pricing goes, if you want to decrease it or not, I would love to see how you positioned it, because if it was positioned in a way that made it seem, but that made it like, oh, okay, makes sense that it's $697 or whatever it is, then I think it's fine. But if the confidence and conviction and also the positioning of how it was communicated during this challenge or on the page or whatever was maybe lacking something, then maybe we either need to fix that, or we do need to lower the price, if that makes sense. So I wouldn't let this, again, this is a individual scenario. I wouldn't turn it into, oh my gosh, I'm an imposter and all this thing, make it mean all these things about you. It's very easy to do when you're a business owner and you get objections, but each objection actually too, though, allows you to prepare future webinar slides or things like that. Like I can tell you, I've taken some time to, and this is why I was telling Val, I was spending like 5 hours on a page this week for my upcoming webinar. There's a whole section I did just about objections, and you guys might find it helpful for future slides and stuff. So maybe I'll try to take a screenshot or put the link or something. But the point is, it's okay. It's an objection. It happens. There will be 10% of people who just randomly change their mind. And what we can do is try our best to see what she says and get her the right resources and stuff, and kind of go from there.
Okay. So should I just leave pricing off the table for now until I feel like I understand what she needs?
What do you mean by that?
Just not even like consider going down anymore
Oh,
on that.
no. I mean, I wouldn't go back to her and be like, well, by the way, now it's $400,
Right.
like I definitely wouldn't do that. But I'm saying for future, like for next launch, if you're going to change the price or.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you.
You
I
could,
appreciate it.
however, though, if she has cold feet, you could say, what if we did I'm so confident that this will help with blah, blah, blah. What if we started with a 2-week trial and then just prorate however much the amount is? This is a big, important thing for people who get cold feet. What if you were able to, do 2 weeks first, and if you don't like it, you don't have to continue or something like that.
Okay. That sounds good. And then just have her pay for the 2 weeks.
Mhm.
Okay. And then just give her the rest, give her the invoice for the rest later if she stays.
Yeah.
Okay. So would you do a program agreement on just those 2 weeks?
A program agreement.
Like
Yeah, I would do like, just, this is a 2-week period, if you choose to continue, this comes off the total, that kind of thing.
Okay. Sounds good. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Good questions. All right. Who's next?
I have a quick question just from what we were emailing about. I figured I might as well just ask about it here.
Okay.
So I asked you about my my cold emailing people on Instagram and whether my message would make it seem like I'm telling women that they need to lose weight, which is what I definitely don't want to do.
Yeah.
So here, let me find an example. So I usually say like, hi person, and then I do something personal about what's on their Instagram. So for this person, I was like, so jealous that you got to see Avril Lavigne the other day. Like, I'm a certified nutritionist who helps stressed out women achieve increased energy, weight loss, and better mental health without guesswork or restriction. I also love wine tasting and music festivals. Any goals or topics you'd like me to post about this month? I want to make sure my content is helpful. I can also post it in chat, actually.
Yeah, and this was for a follower.
This isn't for a follower, so I'm having a really hard time with people following me back. So and also keeping track of it. Like, I'll follow them and then I'll like write down this person I followed, like wait for them to follow back, and then checking every time someone follows me to see if it's that person. So if they have a private account, obviously I will do that, but these are people that I that don't follow me.
Okay. So I would say I don't think that to say your I help statement is a bad thing, but if you wanted to take out weight loss and if instead you wanted to say like, what could be a substitute, like not just.
I like to feel amazing about themselves or their bodies or something.
Yeah, like boost your, I don't know, like, yeah, feel amazing about your body, or boost metabolism or something. I don't know, like something like that. But I don't think it's bad because you're just sharing what you do. But I would say for a colder lead, so if somebody follows you back, I think that's appropriate. For somebody who doesn't yet, Instead, I would send really, really short connection message like, hey, so and so, oh my gosh, so cool. You got to see Avril Lavigne or whatever. Would love to connect. Always looking to connect with other, like, positive women who are
Okay.
growth oriented or something, or who are local in the Canada area or
Okay.
whatever. But your town, obviously. So
Yeah.
yeah, so that's what I would do first, that if it was not a follower,
Okay.
because then they might connect back, they might follow you back.
Yeah.
And you could even say at the bottom, like, if you're ever looking for tips about blank, blank, or blank, that's what I start to
Okay.
do on my page,
Okay.
something like that.
Yeah, it felt a little pushy when I was doing it. I have a really hard time doing it. Like I keep being
Yeah.
like, I'll do
Right,
10,
so there-
like 10 or 20, and then I like push it to the next day and I'm like, I'll do 40 tomorrow, because I just
You gotta
feel
have a barrier in between.
Yeah.
There's a step in between that's missing, so that's why it feels weird. It's like
Yeah,
you
okay.
jump into that next stage where they should be a
Mhm.
follower, and that's what you send a follower. There needs to be that step of like, would love to connect if you're ever looking for tips about blank, blank, or blank.
Okay.
That's what my page is for.
Okay, perfect. Okay. And then people that that are my followers, I'm saying like, yeah, like thanks for the follow. Something anecdotal. I'd love to learn more about you. I'm a certified nutritionist. And then like who helps stressed out women, blah, blah, blah. Any goals or topics you'd like me to post about this month? I want to make sure my content is helpful for my Instagram friends.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I like that.
Okay.
Yeah. And you could take out weight loss if it weirds you out and just say,
Yeah, I
be
might.
in their best shape or feel
Yeah,
like
I might. Just I think with the environment of Instagram right now, it's really easy and I would never want someone to look at that and be like, oh my God, this girl's messaging me and like
right.
telling me that I need to use her services because I need to lose weight. Like it's not
Right.
So yeah, I might take it out. But that's my question. So that's all
Cool.
good. Thank you.
Yeah, nice. All right. Who's next?
Can I go?
Cool. Hi.
Hey, so jumping off of Emma, I'm in the process of doing the same thing as we talked about yesterday, and actually left 2 voice notes this morning for some new followers. But and I realized I don't even say what I do, so that was good. Emma, that you say what your title is. I'm like totally forgot that part. But anyway, I was going through like my list of like the newer ones, and I'm like, are these people even real? Like some of them, I'm like, is there a way to tell? Because I'm like trying to compare the Instagram photo and like search them on Facebook and compare and see if they're, you know what I mean? I'm like,
yeah. If it looks body, like if it says a big red flag is if underneath the profile picture, it says new account, like, or new, this is a new thing Instagram is doing. Usually I've noticed those are weird, like bots or something.
okay.
So, and there will be some of those that follow you for some reason. I don't know how to not have that. You can block them. I don't know what to do about that, but I would just, if you're focus first and prioritize first, people who seem real are, have a profile history and seem like women who have families and stuff like that. And I wouldn't waste your time like having to be like, okay, I gotta Google this person and then I gotta
Well, because I'm not following them, so I only
Oh,
see
okay.
their profile picture, and
I gotcha.
you know what I mean. So it's for those people that I can't see
Oh,
or anything,
yeah.
and they have like they're following like thousands of people, but they only have like 45 posts, and it's like
Mhm.
a grandma and her 2 kids. I'm like, is this real? Is this like, I don't know. I'm so skeptical with Instagram for some
I
reason.
get it.
Yeah. So I didn't know if there's any tricks. I mean, I know there's some. I would remove people all the time, and they just look like, oh I'm an Aquarius, and there's like all the pictures are of like, meditating, and it's like all the same photos.
Well, the other thing is looking at what their comments were, wherever you found them. Like, I think that's going to help you know if they're real or not. Like if they're,
I didn't find them. They're following me.
oh, they're following you. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So
Okay.
I guess there's really no
easy way,
but
Right. No,
I'll-
sadly, there's not like an app you can plug in and be like, is this real?
Fake or not fake? That's genius, actually. Somebody should come up with that.
Yeah. Yeah, like a bot cleaner. Actually, maybe
Yeah.
that's the bot cleaner. I'm gonna look it up on my app.
Oh, okay. Probably is an app for that, actually.
Mhm.
Well, that's it. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Yep. But yeah, if they do have that thing under their profile that's like new account, that's a red flag. Other questions?
Actually, can I ask one more quick question?
Yeah.
If someone answers to that message that I'm saying after they follow me and they're like, no, your content looks great, like, it's all
Mhm.
good.
Yeah.
What do I do after that? Is it?
Yeah, good question. Well, I mean, there's 3 different types of people you're gonna have. You're gonna have like not even super problem aware. You're gonna have slow burners, and you're gonna have people who are ready to see what you have to offer and ready to go. And so those people might be in the camp of like, that first stage. So what you want to do is kind of be like, oh, thank you. You could either say, if you or someone is looking for support when it comes to blank, let me know. I have a free guide about blah, 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 or something like that. So it could be more of like a referral approach, or it could be, thank you for the heads up. Would love to hear more about what you're focused on these days, or like something like that, to just get a little more insight about what they are doing right now, what they
Okay.
are interested in. And that might be helpful to guide the like see where you can take the conversation. Otherwise, it could be like, okay, no worries. And then later you're like, hey, just wanted to check in 2 weeks or something. Just made a new free gift for my followers. It's my blah, blah, blah guide. Let me know if you'd like the link, or if you know somebody who would, something like that. That's like a check-in.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. But the other thing I would think about too is, how can you find people who probably would have, is there a way with who you're searching for in the hashtags or in accounts or whatever, who are more likely to have needs or goals that they would share with you? So how did you, with the people who are like, yeah, no, I'm good. Were they just randomly following you, or did you find them somewhere?
I found them somewhere, but there was actually a girl who was posting about her like SIBO journey.
Oh, okay.
And so like she's kind of doing, she's trying to talk to her followers a lot, and like she's like liking all my pictures and commenting on my pictures and stuff. So I thought that was good because, if anything, maybe she could talk to a friend or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's really hard. I find like lots of the like area that I'm looking for, like the 20s to 35, 40s, like their Instagram isn't super telling about,
Yeah.
it'll be like their friend's wedding and like
Right. Sure.
them at
Yeah.
a restaurant and then like a dog, so it's
Right,
kind of
right.
hard to,
Yeah.
and
Well,
like also too, when I'm liking people's photos, sometimes it'll be like pictures of like they'll post a lot of pictures of like themselves in like bathing suits and stuff, and I don't want to be like liking all
No,
those photos
Yeah, you
and
gotta
like
pick the
weirding
right
them
ones.
out.
Well, here's the other thing. If you found them, let's say, checking into local
I'm doing the yoga studio right now.
yoga,
The
right? So
local
that
yoga
could
studio,
work.
yeah.
That's a
Yeah.
little broad too, but I mean, at least it shows there, and so that's still okay. It still shows, I mean, that's an educated guess. The other
Yeah.
thing you could do though is if they commented, like if there was an account about some workout account or something, and they posted a question about injury, or they posted a question about something like recovery or something, then it's like, oh wow, interesting. Okay, this person has a need,
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good idea to search for people too. Okay.
Cool. All right. Other questions?
Hi, Haley and everybody.
Hi.
I just wanted to share something that I discovered here in Birmingham, Alabama, Alabama, excuse me. That was cool, and I think there are franchises other places because I was trying to get a better headshot. And there's
Mhm.
this place called the Pixel Room. Have y'all
Oh, cool.
ever heard of
Never
it?
heard of it.
Yeah. Anyway, it was in like an outlet shop mall, but you go in and for $20, they have 40 different like set backdrop type sets.
Oh,
And you can
nice.
take your own picture or have someone come with you and take it in each of the different backgrounds and things. And some of them are whimsical, some of them are just kind of more blank color or things like that. But it all turned out great and it was so much fun.
Nice.
Just
That's awesome. Yeah.
using the imagination. So I don't even know if y'all are looking to do that, but if
No, that's awesome.
you are and you have it, it's worth that little price to at least have fun with it. So
Totally.
yeah, I don't think I really have a question. I'm working on so many things and I had eye surgery Tuesday, so
Oh,
got
yeah.
a lot of that happening. But I did want to check though with you, when we complete the months that we contracted with you, do we have access to the resources you've been sharing with us?
Yeah, you guys do. I'm actually changing that for my next launch, but everybody here up until this point in the group and everything has full lifetime access to everything.
Okay, that's awesome. Are we gonna need a special way to access?
You'll just
yourself?
have continued, the Facebook group you won't have access to. That's the only thing that ends.
Okay.
And obviously coming live to the group calls. But the recordings, the materials, the documents, all that stuff you have.
Oh, that's great. Thank you. Okay.
Yeah, but the reason why I'm changing it, and you guys might want to consider this for your future, your business, is because when I give you lifetime access, there's no urgency to complete the materials. So I'm changing it because I want people to consume more of it in the future. And that is something that I've learned recently. So, but like I said, everybody here, lifetime access. All right, who's next? Hope your eye surgery went well. All right, who wants to come on next? No questions? Let me see if I had notes. Okay, well, if no questions, I have a little bit of a mini training I want to talk about. So I want to talk about anytime you're planning either a launch or content to be talking about your services or a webinar or something like that. There's a couple just principles, and everybody can overcomplicate this process because there's different webinar templates and there's different Facebook Live styles, and there's all these things that make it feel like it's a lot, which it is. But at the end of the day, there's just a couple of principles you're trying to hit. And as long as you're hitting them in some way, shape, or form, it doesn't really matter the model you pick to do it. So I thought I'd go through just a little bit of objection busting stuff that you got to address in your marketing, and then also the whole point of why you're doing this. So when you're doing a launch, you want to make sure that first, there's a couple different phases of a launch. There's the hype period where you're like building excitement and you're announcing what you're doing and you're showing them what's possible with committing to whatever their goal is, and just getting them excited. And that can either be showing them other clients who've been really successful, or your own story, or sharing like a common belief they have that actually isn't true, and how exciting it is that it's not true, and that they should be excited about what's coming, and blah, blah, blah. Then you have that registration or like launch period where it's like, hey, come to my webinar, the webinar's here, or the Facebook challenge is here, or the event is here, or whatever, or open cart has now started or something. And then you have your sales period where you're like, okay, now we're overcoming objections, we're saying what's included in the program, you need to book your call if you're doing calls, et cetera, et cetera. And then you have post-launch where you're like, hey, thanks for sticking around. Now I'm going to nurture you because you didn't buy, and you can just stay here and be nurtured for a little while. And then we repeat the process. So people first just want to have a clear idea that people just like them in your program have had success too, and that the perceived likelihood that they can be successful, you're showing that for them. So if you know your people have little comments like, well, I don't know if I would be successful in this because I am scatterbrained and I struggle to stick with anything, and like whatever those things are, like maybe other people would be successful, but not me because blank. You have to show some way, shape, or form, or address, hey, if you feel like you're like this, so did my client so-and-so, or use an analogy that helps how you help them not be like that in the program, or whatever it is. But you got to increase the whole point of the first principle when you're doing a launch is to increase that if they follow the systems and the steps, they can be successful, and it is possible for them. The next thing though is that the second part is removing friction. So in other words, the friction would come from thinking, oh, I got to try something new. Oh, this is going to be really hard. This is going to be a lot of work. Those kinds of comments you have to address and remove the friction and show that it's not as sticky and sucky as a journey that they think it's going to be. I had a client who, posted, here's an example of what you don't want to do to remove friction. I had a client who said like, oh, the reason why my program's 6 months is because 3 months is not enough time for us to accomplish what you want to do. And the twist or the suggestion I made was, rather than saying, oh, this is a hard journey and it has to be long, say, no, the 6 month is comprehensive. And here's an example of what's possible when you commit to 6 months of changing your life. This is an elevate and positive and show like how much change is possible within that time, as opposed to saying, well, it's going to be hard to change your life, so you need 6 months, et cetera, et cetera. So that's an example of like how you'd want to juggle friction, or how you'd want to show it's not as hard as they think. And one real big marketing error I've made in the past that I've had coaches and mentors be like, why are you doing this, Haley? is I talk about, oh, it's hard and there's obstacles and befriend failure, which I still will talk about because I do think it's important, and I don't really care if people don't like it because I'd rather just talk about it. But the point is, I know that kind of hurts me a little bit because a lot of people are like, oh, it's so easy and smooth and no problems, and you never have to do, blah, 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 right? Like it's like magical fairyland. But I do talk about like, oh, you need to learn how to overcome obstacles, or you need to try things until it works. Like, so that might be my error, but the point is, instead, what most marketers say is you want to remove friction, and why it's not going to be hard, and why it is going to be smooth sailing. And yes, you can address that, like there will be obstacles, because what you don't want to do is just be acting like it's too good to be true, because then people are like, okay, I don't really believe this. But you don't want to do it in a way that's making them think, oh, it's going to be so hard. The next thing is using your system or framework and talking about how it makes the difference this time for them. So like, what are the costs of them continuing the way that they're going versus, and why is that not working? And what are the mistakes they're making versus why is yours different this time? Why is yours unique? What's unique about your offer, and highlighting that. that's definitely a part of your content launch strategy for sure. And then on the topic of removing friction, one last just kind of sub pillar of that is seeing how you can lower the risk. So we just talked with Kim earlier about maybe she does do a 2-week trial or something, because it lowers the risk or the perceived risk for that person to get started. Now you have to set boundaries with yourself. You can't just be like, oh, I'm just gonna offer my program now for free because, or I'm just gonna offer everybody this 2-week trial now and then that's it, and change my whole offer. Like you do want to set some boundaries, because of course, it is going to be a little bit of a risk for everybody to join something, but it is anything you can do to lower the risk or help them see that it's not as risky as they think. Like my whole thing is like, it's way less risky, in my opinion, to get support to do something than to do it by yourself. To do it by yourself, not knowing what you're doing, that seems pretty risky to me as far as, risk factor. So those are a couple components. And I want to talk about, let's see here. Let's see if I can find my, so Monday we'll have that guy coming in to talk about sales objections, but I thought I'd share a couple with you while we're here. So on the topic of budgeting, what I did was, okay. So, let's see. So I started to, how we talked last call about creating like your top pieces of content that address certain objections or that you can reuse and cover like thoughts that your people have that you want to address, and compiling those. I'm starting to use those in some of my FAQ sections on this training page. And what I find is, well, I guess this one wouldn't pertain to you guys. This one probably would, about stretch for my budget. If there's a budget concern, obviously it's best to coach them on the discovery call, because you can hear really what the concern is and what is a strain for them financially and what isn't, and whatever, and if they need a payment plan, et cetera, et cetera. But I think it's important to just highlight like what's the cost. So this is how you think about objections. You address it, you can be like, yes, this is an investment. You're right. You're not acting like they're crazy or wrong or anything like that. But here's why it is an investment, and here's the cost of continuing the way that you're going. And then I did do a video that was just separate. I did a video about, well, if they feel like it's a stretch for their budget because people don't pay them in coaching, I made a video about, well, what do you do about that? And then I gave some like general resources about helping them come to a solve for how they could invest in their business. But you guys could take the same kind of style of like, hey, I get it. And then, but here's why it's important. Here's the cost of not, and then re-anchoring like, and here's what we could do about it, type of thing. And then let's see, time is a big one. So, oops, I gotta fix that. Oh, okay. So anyways, this is what I would say to that. So, oh no, okay, that's right. Okay. You may go at your own pace. So again, reminding them, like if you guys go over your offer and then there's parts where they're like, oh, but they like miss a part, like, oh, I don't realize, like I can go at my own pace, etc. Just make sure you're highlighting that kind of stuff if they come up with time, if they say time is a big issue. And then I use old pieces of content again to help overcome those hurdles. And then other things, like sometimes their objections might not be time, money, my husband says no, or my wife says no, or whatever. Sometimes it's more like, I don't actually think this is possible for me because I have PCOS, for example, for you guys, Or I don't think it's possible for me because for my audience, it's like, oh, I feel like I don't have a big audience. So how would I grow a business right now? Is there even a point? Like, can I actually do this? So that's what I address there. But like, what are the little things that they're like, I got this issue, so yikes, that's not going to work out. So does anybody have questions about like objections or planning launch content or decreasing friction and increasing success mindset in your leads, things like that?
You suggest just making up like a whole FAQ page and just putting it on your website so it's always there with them, or
I didn't do this until like 3 years in. I think I would address these on discovery calls, and then I started to document more of them. So it's up to you. I mean, it would be a nice thing to have, and I do think it would better pre-qualify the people who have calls with you. And it's something you could send maybe before a discovery call or something like that if you really want to pre-qualify. But for some of you, you just want to get those first calls so you get that experience. And there's like, you don't want to do anything to deter the frequency first of the calls. So you can learn what the objections are or what the unqualified people are saying type of thing. And then you would develop your FAQs based on what you're hearing a lot.
Okay.
But yeah, it is a good asset to have for sure, eventually.
yeah. Thank you.
Mhm. Other questions? I am going to be working on soon. I have a survey for like after program, but I want to actually make one for during the program because I want to see what improvements can be made and stuff. So I'll be sending you guys a survey probably within 2.5 weeks or so. So stay tuned for that. And if there's anything else, if there's not anything else, we'll hop off. Last chance. Any questions? No? All right. Well, have a great day, a great weekend. I'm going to be in Michigan tomorrow, so I will be a little bit slower on replying. I have to go to a wedding this weekend, but I will be back Sunday. All right. Have a great day.